Welcome everyone to another round of Planet Nomads. Let me show you first what I've gotten accomplished so far with my new greenhouse area. It's not completely done, but the main structure's in place. Basically, I've come up with one design on the end. I'm not sure if I like it yet, so I'm leaving this one open to toy with. But you can see just how much I've gotten done. You can see how it looks. Really, the farming rows that I wanted. You see how it's going to fit together like that. I have one more row here to finish, along with 2 rows there and one on that side. And basically, these take about 3 seconds each to collect. So 20 of them is 60 seconds. And I think it was like 1, 2. Okay, I might be off by a couple, but it's around 26 to 30 range. So let's just say we've got 30 on each side. That is 90 seconds for one row. So that's 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 12 minutes, or 9 minutes. So to harvest all of it, once it's all planted, 18 minutes roughly. And that's perfect timing. 3 seconds on each one, move on to the next. Like, this was just to get the look. And so now, what I would do is make seeds in here, but every time I put biomass in, it gets siphoned out for my other production. So I'm actually thinking I want to separate this. I want to make this a self-contained piece of production system, but at the same time, have the option to combine it back. And we do have interesting new mechanic added to the game. We do have controllable motors, the little rotational pieces. So I could put something right here that rotates and connects using the conveyor connectors. By rotating a certain way, it connects 2 sides, and when it rotates the other way, it disconnects them. So I might do something like that later on. But I'm thinking I want to keep it where these are connected to each other, and up here to the food production. Well, I'm thinking right here is what I want to do is actually take, say, this one out and put in something like this. And by using that, I'm going to have another connection, and I want to use storage containers like this. All right, I've taken that out because this does not look as good with the other way. So this way I'll have this, and then this. Like that. That actually will look better, because I want this to feel like it's an isolated piece, and then everything else will be covered over, so I won't even see anything beyond that. Look at that. Oh yeah, that looks a bit like what I want. Walk in and basically see this. You open it up, you've got access to all the containers, and ultimately everything that this ties into and that ties into. All right, so there we go. That's basically the idea I'm gonna have, and they're gonna link in below. So enclosed completely, still open so you can see everything. And that is, let's see, 10, 11, 12 cargo boxes on each side. So yeah, not a bad amount of storage for this to be completely independent from everything else. That way it's not having all the biomass containers stolen out of it for my production of other materials. So now I need to figure out how I want this to work. I've got this, and unfortunately it does not line up the way you would think it would. It won't line up flush to it. It'll still have that gap there. So I'm gonna have to build some connection to this point. So that lines up, but that does not. It's given that, you know, I can't fit there and make this a smooth connection problem, but we get from too many blocks in the game. I guess we'll have to do it like that. And if I'm gonna do it that way, I'm gonna do it on this side too. And of course, if I line it up the way I have it there, this isn't going to work. More complications. So the only way to get this to line up the way I want it to, physically in this situation, is to do this. And I really don't want to do that. I really want it to just line up smoothly together. Like, why can that not line up vertically at the right spot. It'll line up there, but then I still have a gap on the other side. I can at least get the corner piece on this, the sides, to look right. So now I've got this sort of design going. That's going to be better. Not great, but it's going to be better. It kind of gives a, you know, little fluidness to it. Not great, but not as bad as it was. I'll just do like that. And like that. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about trying to blend it with that part. That's just not going to work. I already know it. And why not throw some plain lights in here for when I'm walking through. I have some lights. I've got my skylight, which will be cool, but you know, at nighttime I won't be able to see some sky. And then that will just, yep, I just take these out. That's all I'm gonna have to do. Fix this up on this side. And there we go. We've got two sides of the walk-through area in terms of like the walking path. That's kind of workable. It keeps it where it's still going to be part of this structure here with the food and drink machines, but not like, you know, too tied in. It's got some separation, but not too much. Now I just got to figure out how I want this side to work. But yeah, at least I got some light. I'm not a fan of using the short ramp style build, but it might be worth it to try doing that for a change and integrate it into this in some manner. I mean, I don't need that height, but I could integrate it into this in a way and have that. I think what I want to do is just worry about the outside being completely separate in terms of it's just its own cosmetic thing. And then the inside, I'm just going to build these kind of like they're embedded into the wall and have them where you're just going to walk up. Oh yeah, this one is kind of surrounded and all the conveyor piping is in the back. Well, that does limit me a bit if I do this because I only have that one gap. Means I have to build it over here and that's going to have to tie into this. So yeah, I need to, this is going to require some very specific alignment operations. Yeah, ultimately, I think we should have more building options in the game than we really do. At least in terms of some less sharp blocks, like where it's not such a limited, you know, angle for certain things like this. I cannot get those to line up. So I have nothing that matches with those except for that part itself. And, you know, finding a spot to make that work. It works for that side, but it doesn't work over here on the corner. So it'd be nice if we did have some more blocks, or at least a better selection of blocks that had more points where they fit together than just, here's a plain square block and a, you know, slope and you figure it out. All right, so I've revamped this a little bit. So this will basically, yeah, come up here and completely enclose this. Actually, as much as I like the way that looks, I think this is going to all have to come out. So that's going to be enclosed like that. At least up to a certain point. I'll have to mess with it once I get everything more in place, but I think I'm going to have it where this just comes along here. So this is the outer wall section. You know what? I don't even need that to be exactly that. I don't need it to be. Oh no, I do need to make it that way because otherwise that's going to stick out if I don't build that high and it's going to look bad. So basically right now what I've done is I've gone with, for the moment, the plain ceiling tiles on their side for the outside wall, just to give me something to start with so I can get this kind of lined up and then figure out from there how I want the outside to look and how it's going to fit form-wise with this. And I swear, every 5 minutes I have either just a heavy rainstorm or a severe thunderstorm picking up in this. And, you know, every few minutes during the day, it just gets dark. It's like, oh yeah, the sun's coming up. And then, oh, it's pitch black because of bad storm. Then, oh, the sun's, you know, back out. Oh, hey, sun's going away again. It's pitch dark because of a storm. You know, I did this before full release, and it's still doing that. I feel like the weather is just not as fluid as it needs to be. It definitely has some severe and fast changes to it. But yeah, we'll just, I think, instead of the sharp ramp angle, I'm going to do that so I can switch and do like that from up above. So like, yeah, there, like that. Then we have this and same thing, and creates this look to it like that. And now if we only had super skinny lights, that would be cool. So if I want to give like a light above each one like that, then basically that's where it's gonna have to sit. And that means, yeah, I have a big gap there I have to cover up. So we go like this behind it, so it creates that sort of look. And oh, maybe I can get that to work like that. And then if it looks like that, then, ooh, I could do the sharper one maybe. No, it's still not going to, I mean, I could do it like that where it combines with the shorter one there. And really, it looked nice to have it completely enclosed, but I like the idea of that. So each one gets its own light. When you're walking past, you got this light here, and bam, there it is. You know, all nicely lit up, ready to access, and you don't see anything else. And then I just have everything enclosed behind it. And if I just go ahead and do like this, then I can just seal the whole thing up like that. I won't see any gap between them, and it'll look like a solid wall from the other side. And then I just have still gaps in here, so if I need to, I'll take part of the wall out and get back here for work on this. But now, yeah, let's do the conveyor connections, and we'll just do it that way. All right, there we go. All of these are connected, and then I just have to tie it into this connection and to that connection. So that's easy enough to do. If I just do that, then it gives me basically the entire front panel. It looks kind of like there's a, I mean, everything's neatly enclosed and, you know, custom installed setup. And then I'll have this right here separated because I want to have a little control panel, even though it won't do anything for me here. I'm not driving this anywhere. It's got a nice look to it. All right, there we go. So I've got 4 little spots. See how this looks before I commit to it on the other side as well. Oh yeah, I come walking in. I got my control panel. Basically, I have this little path right here. Walk past. Oh, hey, let me see. Yeah, all right, make this. Oh yeah, you're making. Oh yeah, you're making this. Okay, go in here. Let's grab some of the stuff from the containers, which will be a lot longer list later, along with everything from these. And then come in here, I can harvest some of this, toss something in here, be like, hey, make me some stuff. You know, we got a very nice bright contrast here. Got the bright white lights. I don't think I would need anything ceiling-wise for this, but could change my mind on that. Then I have this, so it's like, yeah, we got 2 sides. That actually works pretty well. It closes it a little bit, and yeah, I kind of like it this way. So it's not quite a short ceiling like I was thinking, but after 3 other tries at trying to find something to work, this is the best option I've come up with so far. So it feels like I can walk in and possibly still have it work to a certain degree. It's probably not going to work anywhere near like I really would hope it would work, or it should actually work. It should give a lot better options in terms of how certain things get flush to the net side of something else, like on this. And I've noticed something. We have the outer window. We can make flat walls. We have the outer corner, which we have a corner wall, and we have a slope window. But this is the closest thing we have to a slope wall. Where's the plain slope wall like that? Where's the one that's just a solid wall that comes like that, as opposed to this thing? Okay, so I am just gonna have to play with this some more and think some more, because right now I'm kind of in that point where I am losing sight of what I want it to look like and running out of ideas. And I feel like if I keep going, I'm gonna get it set to a certain point where I'm like, all right, this is good. And then the next time I come back to play, I'm gonna be like, what was I thinking? But I do have a little test bed thing for the setup on the joints. And basically you've got slow speed, medium, fast, motor on, motor off, which the motor is on right now. What's weird is that, all right, it's unlocked. Motor's on, motor's off. And say I turn the motor off and it does that. Like nothing's moving it, and then you see it stops, it starts to swing back. But if I turn it on, it doesn't move. Now, when I start binding keys, let's say, you know, we're gonna do not Z anymore, we're gonna do that. And interesting, I'm pressing it, and it's still doing an effect from that. So yeah, we're gonna do rotate left, and it does nothing. Rotate right, it does nothing. I'm not sure what I'm missing. I have been playing with this repeatedly. You know, it's on, off kind of thing. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't seem to actually want to move with the keys when I enable binding. And slow speed, regular speed, so forth, does not matter. So it's on, it's got power, but it won't let me tell it to move a certain way. So I've got to play with it some more, and I'm going to look for some new designs coming out that use this mechanic and see what it is I'm missing, because it's not wanting to rotate for me. And the idea was to have something like this with the conveyor connectors on both ends so that this rotates. And when it does, it lines up to a certain point. Like, oh, I'm going to put some kind of barrier on the side, you know, just a plain little block will go on the side here. It can only go so far in one direction, so far in the other direction. Basically, rotate. It locks in, it ties everything into the conveyor system, the production system for over there. So if I want to have all that sharing from the greenhouse and food production into everything else, I can. And if I don't want it sharing over there, then I tell it to rotate the other way, and bam, it fits, it disconnects them. And basically same mechanic as the hover pad triggering type mechanic people have used in the past. But this is just not working for me for some reason. So if you know how to do it, if you know what I'm missing, I'm sure somebody out there, one of the creators, is going to look at this and say, hey, I just did something with this in my designs for the workshop. This is what you're missing. Go ahead and leave me a comment below, because I am trying to figure it out, but it doesn't seem to want to turn in my game no matter what I tell it to do. So that's going to be it for this episode of Planet Nomads. Hopefully the next episode I will have at least a good chunk of the greenhouse and food production area finished up in terms of the overall visuals, and have everything kind of ready to start tying in for power and actual standalone production. And hopefully, like I said, somebody's going to sit there and say, hey, this is what you're missing on the rotor to get it to turn the right way. And I could go in and tie in that to allow it to connect and disconnect things from production, which of course, once that's working here, I can apply it other places, such as my portable containers we're taking to the other mining site. So that will help a lot, and I'm glad we've got a mechanic for that sort of thing. I've just got to make sure I know how to use it the right way. And if I, you know, have a creator watching this and you know what I'm missing, make sure you comment below. But of course, like I said, that's the end of this episode. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment below anyway. Let me know what you think of the base design. Let me know what you think of the greenhouse. And of course, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Spicy. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to keep it spicy this week, and I will see you in the next video.